I forget record.
You forget what?
Yeah, to pass. Gone. Should all the duck don't have any. Nice.
If you look straight ahead of the boat now, you will see the ferry lady going across in front of us in the orange top with a silver boat. Very simple method. Look, she just grabs hold of the ferry
Wow,
line, look,
look.
Yeah.
hand over hand, and
Oh,
guiding the boat
beautiful.
with her feet. Very simple method.
Oh,
She can do it.
my goodness. Look at that. Oh. Oh.
Look at those pots up there.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So all these houses, even though there's a road,
Yeah.
they must own on the river as well.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I mean, that's just,
Yeah. They just make things beautiful come to the river.
how beautiful.
Yeah. Look at that step. Oh.
Oh, God.
I know. Oh. Look at that. They walk up.
Here she comes, look.
Oh, little cafe
Here comes the
here.
ferry lady, look, on her way back. Very simple method, look. Just pulls on the rope with her hand,
Oh,
guiding
that's
the boat
another
with
one
her
of
feet.
those little boats.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The black and white building here on our left now, this is one of the oldest buildings in Symonds, dating back to the 15th century, the Old Ferry Inn. And of course it derives its name from the ancient hand-old ferry which operates from here. The two ferries here in Symonds, the one where you boarded the boat at the Saracen's Head Inn, in days gone by was the main means of getting passengers across, as this ferry here used to be a horse ferry. Slightly larger boat than the one you see on the right there going across, the silver one, but it was the main means of getting horses from one side of the river to the other. There were many of these ferry crossings on the River Wye between Hereford and Chepstow, over 100 miles of the river. All the rest have long ago disappeared.
There's still a
The
duck
two here in Symonds
on the front of the
are the
boat.
only two left now
Oh,
on the
yeah.
River Wye, and they remain here as the river divides the village in half. That's why we have Symonds east and west. We have no bridge. So we have to rely entirely on these ancient methods of getting people across. No one else is allowed to do so, as the inns themselves have the sole ferrying rights by ancient royal charter. And with those rights, no one must interfere with in any way.
Oh, did you hear that? The two curbs on either side, they have the only permission from centuries to take boats across. Nobody else can do it.
Oh, right. Mm.
There's lots of boats going down here. You see, this is a family and they're in Poland. See, there's one like this one.
Look, the swan. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Oh, sweet, sweet. Mm. Oh, that's really nice. Look like a noodle. Oh, they swim as well. Oh, I not swim in the water. Scary me. Look at that.
Where these very large rocks are, here on our right, on our starboard side, well, this is a salmon pool we've just entered, one of many on the River Wye. But this is full green rocks,
I don't
and
think
the
good for
local record
swimming.
salmon caught in
I
this
don't think
pool,
water good for
47
swimming.
pounds, weighing 23 kilos. Caught by Mr. Patton. Took him about an hour to land very early in the season. But that's just a local record. I'm sure you ladies will be delighted to know a lady actually holds a record for the whole of the River Wye.
Oh, look
fishing
at that.
just above
They're
Errington.
running.
This particular lady, 18-year-old Miss Doreen Davy, caught a salmon
They
that
exercise.
weighed 59.5 pounds.
Ah.
Big fish. And being of such weight and dimensions, it took quite a bit of landing. It took the lady, Miss Doreen Davy, an hour and 15 minutes to land this fish into a rowing boat. It was 4'6" long, had a 29-inch girth, and if you want to see the fish, it's in Hereford Museum. But that is the record to the present day, 59.5 pounds, which is just under the record for the British Isles, which stands at 64 pounds, and that was caught upon the River Tay in Scotland. And yes, that was caught by another lady, Miss Ballantyne, Georgina Ballantyne. So you ladies do hold one or two important salmon fishing records.
I just look this way. I take video. I record now. It's okay. Water not very clear. All right. Oh my God.
That's what you were saying just now. That was installed already. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Not too long.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, different. Look, oh, two. Chris. Private running. Oh, look at that. Sweet. Nice. Really lovely, yeah. Yeah, they have this way. They have the shop as well, you know. Yeah, we see. But I think the way we go, what more beautiful. The way we go, more beautiful.
Yeah, this our side.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. This for caravan park, you know. It's like a we in a James Bond film. Fisherman, you have a fish. Yeah, beautiful. You know what? I don't need to explain it. Just open video for Liam.
Just appearing through the trees here on our left now is our little local parish church. Whitchurch Parish Church. Church of England Church, a little place, and a very old one in 1989.
Oh, look at that.
It celebrated its 700th anniversary, making the first service held here in 1289, almost 700 years old.
Oh, oh my
Built right
God.
out of the village on the riverbanks, as in days gone by, with the roads being poor and the railways non-existent, all ceremonies came up by river. Weddings, funerals, christenings, all came up by boat, and that tradition is still carried on to the present day. And during the floods of February 2 years ago, after Storm Dennis, the river was flowing over 4 foot through the church there. So as you can see, that's a lot of water and a lot of damage to the church. It took them 9 months to get back up and running.
9 months.
This part of the river, though, we're going through at the moment, from the church right up to where we turn a few hundred metres upstream, is known as Barble Alley. A lot of barbel on this stretch of the river, and during the coarse fishing season, we usually get quite a few barbel fishermen on this left-hand bank. Their season, the coarse fishing season, closed on the 16th of March, but it reopened again on the 16th of June. The salmon fishing season, well, that's well underway. That started on the 1st of March, and they'll fish right through to the middle or the end of October, depending on which stretch of river they salmon fish on. And the salmon fishing at the moment is supposed to be catch and release. They're hoping to build some stocks.
Different from we call canal, you know, different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, canal is
Yeah,
different.
yeah, it's nice.
Small and
Yeah.
and low.
Yeah.
You see those
Aren't
flowers there?
Yeah,
Remy and I saw those the other day in the park by me.
yeah.
They look like orchids, and they have pods, like pea pods. And when you press them, the seeds
Oh, God.
explode. They
Oh,
just shoot out in the air.
yeah,
And when they're very fat, you just touch them, and the seeds just
yeah.
are the
Okay,
same ones.
They have fish or not? Oh, I really like it. I love it. Just for me.
Well, it was luck, because I've never been here before. I had no idea. Nancy said it was lovely, but I
Yeah.
had no idea what it was going to be like.
That lovely.
Yeah, but it's lovely.
Yeah.
I don't suppose Liam would want to come.
Yeah. Yeah.
In a few moments, we'll be turning the boat about, heading downstream through the valley to the head of the rapids. Now, this part of the river that we'll be leaving shortly is known as Old Forge. And just a matter of 300 yards upstream from where we're turning, it gets quite narrow and also very shallow. You can actually walk straight across the river 300 yards upstream from one bank to the other. You usually get the salmon fishermen in the early evenings in the middle of the river up there, trying to catch the salmon in the sea trip. Hence, that's why we come to longer trips. But if you look about 80 yards upstream, look, you see a little island in the middle of the river, look, and there's a lot of wildlife on there. You can see a swan on there and a lot of Canada geese. So it gets very shallow up there. The canoeists, they run aground in that area. They get stuck, so they have to jump out their canoes. So it gets very shallow up there. As I was saying about you ladies having these salmon fishing records, but there was a gentleman that fished on this river that lived a few miles upstream from where we are at the present time in the little village of Wolford by the name of Robert Pashley. And Robert Pashley, he died in 1956 at the age of 76, but he was well known throughout the salmon circles right around the world because fishing on this river with a rod and line, Robert Pashley caught the amazing amount of 10,237 salmon. 29 of these were over 40 pounds.
So,
And in his best year,
water not very deep. I can see the water. I can see the underwater.
Yeah, that's
Not
why he said we can't go very far.
Yeah.
Exceeded 63
Not deep,
tons
yeah.
of salmon. The late and great Robert Pashley, the wise, greatest salmon fisherman. A sort of local John West, as it were. They called him the Wizard of the Wye, whose records, I believe, will never be surpassed. There was a big salmon taken out of this river. They called it the monster salmon. Didn't quite make the record
Monster
books as it was
salmon.
found dead in the river.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually caught on rod and
That
line.
about big.
But they estimated its live weight at anything between 80 and 100 pounds, which would have been a world record for wild Atlantic salmon had it been landed. But they did take lots of photographs, and if you look around the boat, you'll see a picture of
I have
this
to take a
monster
photo
salmon.
when we go
It was
out.
4 foot 11 and 3/4 in length and 33 and a quarter inches in its girth. The monster salmon didn't quite make the record books as it was found dead in the river.
Hi. That. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at it. They come to food now. Look at that.
I love those houses.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah. Now they have to go. Still the same up.
A few people of note out of many that have journeyed down the River Wye over the years are Queen Mary, the Queen's grandmother, Lord North, a former Prime Minister, and an author by the name of William Gilpin, who in writing his book Observations on the Wye coined the word picturesque. This is where the English language adopted that word from Gilpin's description of his journey down this river from Ross on Wye to Chepstow in the year 1770. Picturesque, journey down the Wye, William Gilpin. And last but by no means least, Lord Nelson, I suppose our most famous admiral in our history. In July 1802, Lord Nelson himself sailed down through here, where we're going through this afternoon, on his way down from Ross on Wye to Monmouth on the Wye tour, going down to Monmouth by boat to receive the freedom of the town. Accompanied him on his river voyage Sir William and Lady Hamilton and all the entourage, being welcomed at Monmouth by a crowd of some 6,000 people, and a salute of cannon fire from the top of the Kimming Hill, according to the newspapers of the day. Several visits to the area during this period. Nelson, the reason for his close connection to the town was Monmouth was the only town in the country to have a large naval monument to himself, his fellow officers, his battles and campaigns. And that monument still
I
stands
know.
on the Kimming Hill, overlooking the town and the river.
I will catch
Well
them.
worth a visit if you're in the area. A drive up onto the Kimming Hill.
They
to see
come for food, you know, they want
Nelson's
food.
temple, as it's sometimes called,
Look at
and
that.
capture from
Oh,
there
beautiful.
some magnificent views. Nelson also visited the Forest of Dean. The purpose
The
of
big
these
one
visits
now.
was to ascertain what timber was available for the building of ships for the British fleet. He was appalled when he found that nearly all the English oak had been felled in the forest to supply charcoal to the many smelting furnaces that operated in the area over the years. So concerned was he had the Admiralty address Parliament and demand the Forest of Dean be replanted with English oak for the future needs of the British Navy. Well, this request was granted, and these thousands of acres of oak were replanted. But of course, they weren't to know at this time that iron would become the major shipbuilding material. But these oaks flourished, and this is why today the Forest of Dean boasts the biggest population of mature English oak than any other forest in the country. All these acres of oaks are known today as Nelson's oaks, some of which have been felled in recent years to supply timbers for the restoration of Nelson's flagship, HMS Victory. So the Nelson connection still continues right to the present day.
We in a romantic book, James Bond. They have the lunch, the boat.
Somebody right in front of us.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh Yeah,
They were in the way, right?
yeah. Oh,
That
I
was
know.
close.
It's really cool. Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that is just
Yeah, beautiful.
On the left-hand bank is where Symonds Yap gets its name from, the viewpoint of Symonds Yap Rock. It's of national and international reputation, and I'll do my best to point it out to you. If you follow the skyline up in front of the boat, follow the skyline from right to left, and keep going along the skyline to your left, keep going along. And then right about the corner here, just before the skyline slopes down a little, there's a little V-shaped gap. And in that gap, you'll see a flagpole sticking out, just coming into view about now, if you look carefully, you'll see a flagpole sticking
yeah,
out.
there's a
There it is, look.
rock right up there.
But
Yeah.
that's the famous
See the post?
viewpoint.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very spectacular from down
Yeah, I
here,
see,
but
yeah,
once
I
you're
see.
stood on the
It's a
top,
flag.
it's quite spectacular
oh.
It's a
indeed.
wonderful
On a clear
view.
day, you can see across to 7 different
Oh.
counties. And you can throw a stone into the river on the other side of that hill as the river comes round in a 4.5 mile horseshoe bend. And it's from that point that Symonds Yap gets its name from. In the 17th century, there was a man by the name of Robert Symonds. He had a toll gate on the road up there, leading on into the Royal Forest of Dean. He was a Yorkshireman, High Sheriff of Herefordshire at the time, and if he wanted anyone to open his toll gate, he wouldn't say open the gate, he'd say open the yat. Yat being an old Celtic word for gate. Still used in parts of northern England, and even today in some parts of Scotland they still say stick the yat, shut the gate. So it's Symonds' gate or Symonds' yat. It was called New Weir previously. In the Saracen's Head car park coming up on our left shortly, we've got a couple of sculptures that have been carved in the car park there. You may have noticed the sculptures. They used to be tall trees at one time, red cedar trees, and they were starting to split, so they chopped them down to stumps about 15, 16 years ago, and they were stumps for a couple of years, until a young man by the name of Tom Harvey was passing by, like yourselves today. He saw the stumps, offered his services, and that's what he carved. First one's coming into view on our left. Outside the pub, you've got the green ice cream shop. And if you look to the left of the ice cream shop, in a few moments, you'll see the first sculpture. And if you look carefully, just above the green hedge, you'll see a face in it, facing towards the river. Just above the green hedge, you'll see
Oh,
a face
yeah.
in a few moments.
My
Well,
God,
face
that
represents
beautiful.
Vega, who was a Roman wanderer, the spirit
Oh my
of the Wye
God.
Vega, as Sabrina is the spirit of the River Severn.
Yeah.
And it took Tom Harvey 7 days to do that carving of Vega and the fish above the head. And it took him 8 days to do the other carving, which is a few metres to the left, which has got a peregrine falcon on, a cluster of butterflies, a damselfly, a swooping swallow, a snake, and in the front of the tree there's a squirrel. It took him 8 days to carve that one. He used 5 different chainsaws, from a very long chainsaw to a very short one. And he always signs the bottom of the tree trunk with his initials, T.H. Tom Harvey. Very talented young man. And right in front of the boat, now in the hill, right in front of us, you've got the very tall tower rock, the very tall pinnacle. That is just a natural formation. That's called Longstone. A lot of people tend to think it's part of an old castle, or even Yap Rock itself, but it's just a natural formation, Longstone, very popular with the climbers.
It looked like that. What beautiful.
A couple of seasons ago, we had the country file team down here, and the blonde-headed lady, Ellie, she was climbing Longstone up in front of us. That was one of the main features, Ellie, climbing Longstone from country file. Looking down the valley now towards the rapids, you'll see that they've got low white gates hanging from the rapids. That's for the canoeists to zigzag through when they lower them. We do get a few competitions during the year, so they do get a bit of practicing occasionally. But the three hills coming into view up front in a few moments, each hill lies in a separate county. We've just moved into Gloucestershire on our left. That's the hill with Longstone in it.
Did you hear that? We've just moved from one county.
Herefordshire on our right.
Yeah.
And the hill at the end of the valley, going across the centre there, that's the commencement of Wales, the county of Monmouthshire, giving us our three county view.
So where we are
Gloucestershire
here,
on the left,
you can see
Herefordshire on
three
the right,
different
Monmouthshire
counties.
right
You know what
there.
county is?
No.
And you'll be able to see
South
the start of the
Glamorgan, where we
rapids
live,
going
is a
down on the
county.
left.
Oh yeah,
As we
yeah.
Newport
turn
is
right.
another county.
Very
Yeah.
popular with the
Here,
canoeists, as there's
there
a
are
28
three
foot drop in the
counties
river
Oh
bed,
yeah, allow
over a
you.
half-mile stretch of water, which creates fast-flowing water, which the canoeists enjoy.
Mm.
Yeah, a county is not a town, it's the
The-
bigger,
yeah.
bigger.
Bigger area. Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody interested in railways on board, but sadly on the right-hand bank here, these wooden railings on our right, going down, right the way down towards the rapids, that's all that remains of Symonds railway station. Once part of a beautiful line that followed the river all the way from Ross and Wye till it came to the back of the hill in front of us. It didn't go round the loop, it came through a tunnel under the Yap Rock, which emerges just to the right of this green hotel in front of us. Just to the right of the hotel there in the trees is the entrance to the tunnel. 495 yards long, the tunnel, still in very good condition. Came out of the tunnel there next to the hotel, into the station up on our right, and then it followed the river then all the way down to Monmouth, where it changed in Monmouth for Chepstow, changed in Ross for Hereford, closed down by the famous dock of Beechin in 1963, known as the Beechin Cuts. Great shame when that closed. It would have been worth a fortune then. And if you look above the Green Hotel here on our right, you'll see the white and red terracotta chalet up there. That's an original Swiss chalet. It has been modernised over the years. A lot of money has been spent on that chalet, but that came into the village by train in 1912, 110 years ago. Did a lot of filming at that chalet there up on our right over the last couple of years. I don't know if any of you have got Netflix, but there's a programme on there called Sex Education. Gillian Anderson from the X-Files, she was in it. But when they were in the village here, on location, that's where they did the filming, up in the chalet there, up on our right. Any of you seen any of the episodes, you may recognise the chalet up there. Supposed to be very popular and very funny. I've been told the cameras are due back next month, September, for another series. They're doing another series of Sex Education.